You will be charged with everything from passing out while driving to swearing out loud and even driving recklessly because there is an open container of alcohol in your car. Watch these officers go from being boys in blue to boys in booze. Augustine had just told him that he totaled his cruiser while trying to pee while driving. This is something that no one in their right mind would do, but Byron could tell from Augustine's bloodshot eyes and slurred speech that he was just the right amount of drunk to do both. Back at the station, Byron found Augustine arguing with police officers. Byron told him he was going to the hospital to take a test while he was handcuffed and armed, but Augustine refused. "We're going to go down and do a drug and alcohol test down at the hospital, you and you'll need all your gear," Byron said. Augustine got more and more angry as the officer tried to figure out what was wrong. He even swore at him, "Don't play this game with me, buddy. I'm trying to help you out here. You ought douche. Well, I can't do stuff, I'm just doing what I got to do on my job. If you want to leave, go ahead and leave. All right, let's go, come on, Augie. Don't do this, man, it ain't worth it," and he walked away. Augustine was ready to go home, but when Byron asked him if he was okay to drive, he changed his mind and started crying. "It's not the end of the world, Augie. If you just go down and take the test like we asked, we can at least get that cleared up so you can go back to work." Byron tried to get Augustine to take the test, but Augustine walked away and then broke down again. After Byron told Augustine that he wouldn't be driving home, Augustine lost it and said, "I can't let you drive the car home unless we tell Du what am I going to do." He then added, "I can't let you drive, so if you try to get in that car, I got to stop you." Byron finally talked Augustine into going back to the station while they decided what to do with him. Augustine was so drunk that he fell off his seat several times, and an officer had to hold him up. He quit the police force, and after an investigation, he was found guilty of handling a weapon while drunk and operating a vehicle while drunk. He was given a year of probation, 177 days of suspended jail time, a $300 fine, and court costs for driving while drunk. Losing your job and having your car towed away all in one day is crazy, but this isn't the only time an officer has been caught driving drunk. Before we get to number 2, Nate Meyer, a shocking scene happened in East Mississippi, Colorado, on March 29, 2019. There were fire trucks and police officers everywhere. Several Aurora police officers were ready, and the whole thing revolved around one patrol car. 2 people said they saw a car parked in the middle of the road with the engine still running. Officer Nathan Meyer was sitting in the driver's seat with his foot on the brake, and he looked like he had either a health emergency or a gunshot wound. Officers at the scene were confused about what was wrong, but when they tried to disarm him, he resisted. Instantly hit with the strong smell of alcohol, Meyer wasn't hurt or injured, he was just drunk. He stayed unconscious as they took him out of the car, took him to the hospital, and then sent him home. But if you thought that Meyer would be charged with anything, you'd be wrong. Surprisingly, the department's chief, Nick Metz, called the event a medical event and said it was just cops being stressed out. No charges were brought against an Aurora police officer who was found drunk and passed out behind the wheel of his cruiser. Body cam footage from the incident shows that several officers turned off their cameras when Meyer was mentioned as being drunk, saying, "He's a little drunk," so there was no evidence to press DUI charges against Meyer, which made the DA mad, because, if one of us had been in that car instead of Officer Nate Meyer. You asked me if I think it would have been handled differently. I do. But during an internal affairs investigation, Mears turned in his hospital report, which showed that his blood alcohol level was 5 times the legal limit. He later admitted that he had gone home and drunk vodka in the middle of the night of his shift, but he didn't remember what happened until he woke up in the hospital. The only punishment he got was being demoted, but he still works at the police department. It's easier to cover up a drunk officer when the moment is caught on camera. People were calling the police from all over the place, stopping in the middle of the street off the road and running stop signs. It wasn't long before an officer saw a squad car driving erratically. When the officer pulled the car over, he saw Oscar Mayorga, an officer with the Opapa Police Department who had been with the department for 5 years. As the officers stripped Mayorga of his weapons, Mayorga gave a plausible explanation. Why he was acting that way. No other weapons, but I'm having seizures. Okay, I'll turn off my lights quickly for you all. Let's just lean against my car quickly. All right, Mayorga slurred his words and said that he was on his way to clock in for his shift. During the change, Mayorga could barely hold himself up. I'll make sure you don't fall, he said. Now I'm having a seizure here. If you want to sit down, you can do so in the grass. One officer wasn't sure that my organ was having seizures, so he went to look in his car and quickly found a better explanation for my organ's strange behavior. When the officers told Mayorga about their suspicions, he continued to say that he was on medication. "Did you do anything to celebrate today, man?" "Sir, don't listen to that man. It's better to be honest in our profession." No. I know I took BR drills. There is an open container of alcohol in your vehicle. Have you been drinking today?" "No, that's probably 3 days old." "Okay, so paramedics were called to check him out." That's when Mayorga finally admitted what he'd been doing. "I had 3 big boys with me that day, but he refused to take any sobriety tests for the strangest reason." "I'm going to ask you again. Are you willing to do centerfield sobriety exercises? If this gets me jailed, fine, but that doesn't put you in jail either. You should know that I'm just trying to get to work, sir. You're just trying to get home to do your work. You're trying to get to work right now, sir. You're conditioning." As the officer took him in, he said, "I really just beg you, I don't want to go to jail." The officer replied, "Hey, we're going to detain you, and we'll figure it out. Okay, go ahead, don't get no. A breathalyzer test was done at the station, and his blood alcohol level was almost 5 times the legal limit. The mayor's supervisor arrived and couldn't hide his shock. After what happened, he was almost certainly charged with driving while impaired and put on administrative leave with full pay. Driving drunk in a patrol car is bad, but at least he didn't yell about being a cop to everyone who could hear, like this next officer number 4 Kameny around 9 p.m. one night in November 2022. Police from the Orlando Police Department were called. Officer Sarah Mooney, 31, from the Opapa Police Department, was the first person they met at the scene of the accident. From the first words she spoke, it was clear that the officers were in for a tough night. "Okay, anything on you, guns or anything?" "No, not at all," and kept swearing as the officers tried to figure out what had happened. "If you guys are good to go, if you want to whatever you want to do, I'm talking to them if you're." Police should have known better than to talk to us like that, so they decided to talk to the person who wasn't swearing at them or smelling like alcohol. "Do you have your license, registration, and everything?" they asked. "Okay, I'll be right back. Just get that together for me." The man quickly told the officer what had happened that night, so I'm pulling off of the off-ramp. Obviously, the road was closed, so slow down and look back. I see headlights, but you're in this lane that's closed, so see headlights. Look over, and I don't even see headlights. The woman had hit him from behind, and she told him right away that she was a police officer. He had managed to record the most shocking part of the confrontation on his phone. "I'm a cop here." "Okay, sorry ma'am. I mean, no one expects me to do it right now. I need you to hit my car right now. Don't come at me." What I'd like to know is if that driver's side that's right here came around to his door, pulled it open, and pushed his arm away when he tried to close it. When the officer went back to Mooney and asked her. When Rooney went to get her things from her car, she was angry and asked, "Why are you doing this? I don't want you to get hit by a car. That's the real reason I always walk people across the street." She then told the truth, saying that she had been hit and that she was coming in when she was hit. "What was your damage?" she asked. "I don't think there's even any damage to." It wasn't believed by the police, but Mooney kept saying she wasn't guilty. "She gave me a ticket because I'm a police officer," he said. The only problem was that other witnesses said she had been swerving recklessly. You know how it works. We have an independent witness that you don't know, and he doesn't know that says differently. Says they saw you, which is why you think that because he yelled at me as soon as I got out of my car and tried to talk to him. This police officer knew the odds were against her, so she started thinking of ways to get back at the man she had hit for not being nice.